Hello there. So I decided to take a look after seeing on X some hubbub at Rob Bonta, the Attorney General of California. He has warnings for consumers of shopping scams and fraud, and two very different lists of warnings. One on this State of California Department of Justice website, and one on Twitter. The one on Twitter is very benign. As holiday season approaches, we are urging holiday shoppers to be on the lookout for common scams this holiday season. I urge Californians to familiarize themselves with shopping pitfalls and report scams to my office and local law enforcement agencies. So let's see what he's talking about. Take time to compare products. That's fair general advice. Be suspicious of a price or deal that seems too good to be true. The same. Check to see if a business is legitimate. Search online for customer feedback, complaints, and other information that will help. Fair enough. Use a credit card when shopping. This allows you to dispute charges if something goes wrong. Understandable. Give gifts, not personal information. Yeah, don't give personal information. Don't open links from unsolicited text messages. Even a kid should know this on the internet. Close accounts on websites and apps that you no longer need. And fair enough, I guess. Understand the common pitfalls of zero-interest financing offers. And be cautious about buy now, pay later financing. They're both quite similar and they are pretty benign, like I said. Perfectly understandable. So why are people so mad? You are a scammer along with Newsom and the rest. Love the Orwellian undertones. Rat out your fellow businesses for not supporting file grew behavior, you know, the fans of the playground types. As if California hasn't destroyed businesses enough, your European socialist state model is an abysmal failure. What are you talking about? Let's try on the official website. Okay, so be on the lookout for gift card draining, hidden fees, gender-based price differences. Businesses are prohibited from charging different prices for substantially similar goods based on the gender of the product's target audience, a practice known as the pink tax. Isn't pink tax something debunked long ago by right-wing YouTubers? When it is used to charge women higher prices than men for essentially the same goods. I'm pretty sure they were talking about things like razors, and basically they said that these are different kinds, different makes, different companies, etc. And that's why the price difference. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Okay, if you have seen or believe you are the victim of illegal gender-based price differences, please file a complaint. Fair enough. Did you know that it costs different amounts of money to color things? Different colors are more difficult to achieve than others. Not to mention, of course, there are different types of dyes. So even if you have the same exact product, just dyed differently, there might be a manufacturing cost difference. Just pointing it out. Lack of a gender-neutral product section. Okay, now that sounds Orwellian. That sounds like you are, you know, the groomy type. Fans of the playground type. Let's see. Does your department store have a gender-neutral children's section? As of January 1st, 2024, large retail department stores that sell childcare items or toys must maintain a gender-neutral section for these items. Retail department stores that have physical locations in California and 500 or more employees must maintain a gender-neutral section where a reasonable selection of the childcare items and toys for children that they sell must be displayed, regardless of whether these products are traditionally marketed for boys or girls. By requiring large retailers to maintain a gender-neutral section, it makes it more difficult for these retailers to engage in gender-based pricing discrimination and reduces the imposition of gender stereotypes on children. The imposition of gender stereotypes. The same gender stereotypes that literally every society since the beginning of humankind used to adhere to. And like 10 years ago, you guys discovered that actually it's harmful in a social construct, so let's get rid of it. And since then, mental health has decreased sharply. Correlation does not necessitate causation, but it is true. Okay. Let's see. What are you worried about? Gender stereotypes. What aren't you worried about? What do you want to decriminalize or criminalize less? California bill would let the most heinous enders out of prison early. From August 14, 2024, California Democrat revived his bill to propose early release of prisoners serving life sentences without a chance of parole. A a sentence typically awarded only to those who commit the most violent or reprehensible of crimes. The only exclusions barring early release under this bill would be for those who have committed first-degree ending of a police officers or 3 or more people, or if the crime driving the life without parole sentence involved an adult forcing act, such as, adult force and then homicide. Those sentenced for only 2 endings, so long as one of the 2 was not of a police officer and neither involved the adult act during, could appeal for early release. I wonder, what's the difference between the person who ended 2 and the person who ended 3 lives? Why is one more worthy of early release than the other? Can you explain to me? I thought both are reprehensible, criminals that I don't want on the streets. Like, would you care whether the neighbor is a guy who ended 2 lives, not in self-defense, or 3? Or would you say, I don't feel safe to let my children out either way? Because I am of the latter opinion, personally. I also don't really need the someone force themselves on someone else to fear them. The fact that you ended 2 lives is enough. Again, so long as it's not self-defense. Now, let's see what are the reasons for requiring early release. Reasons for petitioning include childhood trauma, being a veteran, having a cognitive impairment, intellectual disability, mental illness. Almost the entirety of the United States has been diagnosed with mental illness at this point. Having been under 26 at the time of the offense, being in diminished physical condition that reduces the risk for future violence. Okay, but can't you regain physical condition through, eating well and working out, and then you are dangerous again? Or if the California Racial Justice Act applies. The California Racial Justice Act allows individuals to challenge lawful convictions if they can present racial bias related to trials, or in the absence of bias, country-level data finding members of an individual's race or national origin face more arrests, serious charges, or longer sentences than another group. It's unclear what the baseline comparison group might be, as white individuals commit more crime per capita than Asian individuals, while Asians from some nations commit more crime than Asians from other nations on the large, diverse Asian continent, thereby allowing anyone to present a disparity of some kind. I'm also going to point out that for the same crime, women get reduced sentences compared to men. So can we use that too? Something tells me that if you tried to say that you're white but you get your group gets more punishment than Asians, or you're male but your group gets more punishment than women, they won't accept that. They will accept, however, if you are black, Hispanic, a woman, trans, gay. That's just personal opinion of mine. So this is from the Center Square about California, but the same exact thing has been reported in Fox News. The California bill that would give convicted enders a chance to walk free. It's the same bill, Senate Bill 94, by the same Senator Dave Cortez. The co-authors, including San Francisco Senator Scott Wayner, who wrote a prior bill that decreased the punishment for knowingly infecting someone with HIV, so AIDS. Yeah, so infecting people with deadly diseases and ending 2 people, that sort of thing, that needs early release. Why shoplifting is now de facto legal in California? From the Hoover Institution. Google shoplifting in San Francisco and you'll find more than 100,000 hits, and you'll find lots of YouTube videos where you can watch a single thief or an entire gang walk into a San Francisco Walgreens or CVS and empty the shelves. Most walk in, go about their pilfering, and then walk out. Though at least one thief rode their bike into the store and departed the same way, carefully navigating their 2-wheeler down a narrow aisle. So, shoplifting, not a concern. Ended 2 people, early release. But if you are the awful type of person who separates boys' toys from girls' toys, that they need to know. The AG needs to know. The governor wants to know. Look, guys, if you are perpetuating harmful gender stereotypes, you have no place in a state like California, a progressive state that truly cares about the little people. Do you believe a word of it? I honestly don't believe a word of it. I'm sorry, it's just so ridiculous. Even if you truly believe that these stereotypes are harmful, you gotta understand that you live in a country where half the people don't, and the entire world has been living that way literally forever. So maybe don't try to force your belief on social but to put it, revolutions about gender on everybody else. Then they might not hate you as much. Seriously, at this point, whenever I see someone using any of the terms that are exclusive almost to the left, like the pronouns thing, or starting to talk about historical injustices and stuff like that, it's just immediately I clamp up in my mind. I just feel like, okay, this is someone who clearly hates my guts. It's an instinctive reaction at this point. I honestly have no patience left. I have not heard any good faith argument from that side for so long. It's just I immediately reject it. It's on instinct at this point. If I see it in a movie, in a book, in a game, I just immediately refuse. If you want to be able to have a conversation on this, then you've got to stop criminalizing your position. Especially considering if you asked like the 50% of people or more that won the elections, they'll tell you that what you're doing in destroying the traditional gender roles is harmful to kids. And then you make it law. So bizarre to me. Also, since when is being a member of a specific race an extenuating circumstances for committing crime? I mean, think about it for a moment. Who is more oppressed, let's say? Who has had a harder hand dealt to them by fate, by life? A rich black person, like the son of a famous, I don't know, like a brain surgeon, athlete, politician, whatever, who has lived in comfort and luxury their entire life, had good food, a large house, all the toys, all the help, private teachers, or let's say a white homeless person who has had nothing handed to them and suffered from lack of food and bad conditions their entire lives. Of course, there are lots of black people in the same condition. I'm just pointing out that it's not being black that makes things bad for you, it's being poor. And there are poor black and white people, and Hispanic and Asian and all types. So why, instead of saying, well, this guy was born, on the street to very poor parents and he was homeless from a young age, so maybe we take consideration of that to reduce the sentence. I'm still not sure I am for it, because I think we should be tough on crime in order to prevent future crime. But let's say that you want to extend empathy. Why aren't you extending empathy based on the specific oppression the individual felt? Instead, you're going by, well, this group is more oppressed than that group. So the rich son of a black billionaire is going to receive empathy and a reduced sentence, and a poor white person born on the streets is not. How does that make any sense? How does it make any sense? I don't understand how any of it works in the mind of basically liberals, I guess you'd call them. They don't seem very liberal to me. Although I will point out that the attorney generals are not necessarily voted by the majority of people, rather they are just bought off these days. If you didn't know, George Soros decided to invest a lot, and I mean a lot of money into DA races in the United States, and as a result, a lot of far left DAs were elected. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 10 times as much as ever was spent on such a race. George Soros doesn't care, he invests the money, and these candidates almost inevitably win, because if you outspend the opposition 10 to 1, that's usually what happens. And a lot of these DAs supported Antifa, Black Lives Matter, defund the police. I don't think people were very happy with the results. Do remember that, for example, Anna Kasparian, one of the things that she said influenced her the most to stop seeing her own leadership, the Democrats, with rose-tinted glasses, was being assaulted by a homeless person, and then being told that discussing the assault and wanting to prevent future ones was stereotyping and harmful to homeless people. I'd say, whether you're progressive or not, you want safe streets. I think that's normal human behavior, to want to be safe and to have your family and friends safe, your community safe. So I think once people experience a George Soros DA, they might be more inclined to vote the other way next time. That said, until such a correction occurs, this is what we're stuck with. Enjoy your gender-neutral toys aisle for kids and your very shoplifted Walgreens. Thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.